Welcome to Drunken Reviews, and today I'm going to talk about the pantheon of Tim and Eric. Now, for those of you who are not familiar, Tim and Eric are a absurdist comedy duo who began putting out work in the early 2000s, to my knowledge, and their magnum opus being Tim and Eric, Awesome Show, Great Job, but have since put out a lot of work since then, and I'm not that familiar with what they've done since then, but I am familiar with it. Just not that familiar. Now, when they were at the stage of just producing Tim and Eric, when I say Tim and Eric, I'm referring to Awesome Show. When they were just doing Awesome Show, it always caught me off guard how sincere they would be during interviews, particularly Tim. And I'm talking about text kind of interviews. Published interviews. You would get this really sincere speech, which was incredibly bizarre. It's really didn't fit into the work that they were doing. I fully expected them to be in character in the interviews, and they were in the video interviews, but not in these kind of text interviews that were showing up online around 2009, 2010, perhaps 2011. And since then, there's been an increasing amount, particularly in Tim's world, as they've kind of diverged from each other, of this kind of sincere personality, melding and mixing with the absurdist work. And it reveals, quite obvious truths of them being quite left-leaning, liberal. It's very bizarre to see Tim speaking in this way, but clearly from the work, he's parodying the right, and he's presented himself as a moderate famously in his call with Sam Hyde, but socially liberal, of course. I mean, this is the world that the left lives in, is the left, but this stance is bizarre. The work is bizarre. It's so divergent, and I haven't felt it in me to watch on cinema at the cinema. I love the Neil Hamburger episode of Awesome Show, and I've watched the Tim's Cook-Off stuff. I haven't seen Bedtime Stories. I haven't seen all of the stuff put up on Jash. I love Doug Lucenhop. I've watched The Pound House, but I haven't watched Office Hours, and I haven't watched so much. I just see it through these small clips because Tim to me has become this figure and this person who's a person and a political person and a human and is not the Tim Heidecker of Tim and Eric, Awesome Show, Great Job, or Tim and Eric Night Live, or Tom Goes to the Mayor, which I didn't watch, but I just respect that kind of pantheon of work as a certain statement. And the rest is kind of take it or leave it. I mean, it's very much like neither here. It doesn't draw me. Okay, the marketing and the clips I've seen don't draw me in. There was this deep richness of melding Tim's quite traditional comedic sentiment with Eric's very lucid absurdism and this world that was built in Awesome Show was deeply captivating and often not laugh out loud funny, but a representation of an idea of postmodern aesthetic that gave space for something akin to a queer identity, something that's kind of queering the narrative, something that's obscure to the point of stepping outside for the sake of doing so. And they would maybe say it's just for laughs, but I found it deeply artistically representational of, particularly in how they would in each episode, viewing it as an episode, how bits would tie in was incredibly interesting. That they could be so abstract and still form. Not cohesion is not the thing I'm praising here. It's narrative. That there's narrative in these divergent absurdist sketches. This is something that's been lost in the later work, and I'm not bashing it. I haven't seen a lot of it. I'm just talking about how it no longer tempts me. And Tim's stand-up was exciting at first, particularly his Tim Allen joke, but I just find it uninteresting at this point. Thank you. Goodbye.